San Diego has been famously touted as America's finest city, and it's hard to disagree with that. It has a picturesque coastline, beautiful vistas from its many mountaintops, steep canyons, and coastline cliffs. The city of San Diego has a crisis that has been brewing for many decades, but has now arrived. It is a crisis of basic human necessity. San Diego is expected to have 1 million new residents by the year 2050. If we did nothing to improve our current methodologies, some officials estimate we may have a shortage of housing approaching 500,000 units. This crisis is forcing us to find solutions and ask critical questions of our lifestyles and sociological necessities in an urban setting. One way we may be able to fight this crisis is asking ourselves, can we live smaller? Living smaller may seem like a utopic concept, but could San Diego achieve this goal? Are there policies and housing initiatives in place to support this new way of life? Well, yes and no. But before we can dive deeper into what is happening today, we need to briefly look at the history of San Diego housing to better understand where this crisis stands. San Diego is a city that has grown in the automobile era, with most major development and population growth since the 1960s occurring beyond the downtown locale. But luckily for 1960s, 70s, and 80s San Diego, there were many unincorporated and vacant parts of the county, namely in the northern region, that were ripe for vast developments. But the solutions at the time were large swaths of single-family tract housing that cemented the cliché suburban lifestyle in San Diego, a lifestyle that had originated in post-World War II communities across the United States.
We have run out of developable land. You can't go out in the backcountry, and that's an issue that's going on right now in terms of where development will go. Because we can't service it, it's subject to environmental constraints, and then the whole issue of wildfires and climate change has made some of these areas not really suitable for development.
So, with new affordable developments fundamentally out of reach in East County, are we able to live smaller with infill developments around San Diego? Your first question may be, how much smaller? To answer that, let's look at the year 1950, when the average single-family home was 953 square feet and housed an average of 3.4 people. That means each person had roughly 280 square feet of space, a number which is much likely smaller after deducting communal spaces. Fast forward to 2020, where the average new single-family residence in the United States is 2,584 square feet and houses an average of 2.5 people per home. That translates to a staggering 1,000 square feet of space per person. That is more than triple the living space required only 70 years ago. Being aware of the now customary overuse of space is only half the problem. San Diego has passed several measures recently that may allow for higher densities while attempting to minimize the disruption to the culture and character of some of San Diego's most cherished neighborhoods. One of the most recent measures is the legalization of granny flats to be built on existing developed lots. This plan accounts for 5 years of development and a total of $9 million of waived fees for people who wish to build granny flats. A measure like this allows a single-family homeowner to utilize their lot size to their benefit, as well as people who are looking for a place to live with lower rents. One such goal to strive for is the removal of single-family zoning. Minneapolis and Portland have effectively eliminated single-family zoning, allowing for in some cases there to be quadplexes per standard lot size, with all units sharing a common yard area. While this rezoning effort would be another great step in allowing for higher density and more affordability, there would no doubt be a lot of pushback by residents in these neighborhoods, as has been seen in communities across Portland and Minneapolis.
People are deathly afraid of something that's out of scale and character. That doesn't mean you can't build a 3 or 4 story building. It just means you can't build a 20-story high-rise next to somebody's single-family house and have them accept it.
Now let's take a look at the iBox 120 development in Norway, where designers were able to achieve a design with a footprint of no more than 15 feet by 25 feet, totaling to 1,125 square feet, with living spaces for 4 people dispersed across 3 levels. Each person has about 280 square feet of living space. In order to live smaller, people's frame of mind needs to change, and people need to be shown a good product and design that reinforces the notion that excessive space is not only unnecessary, but also not nearly as efficient. This is an idea that has been achieved across the world in highly populated cities and even in places that have excessive land but employ space-saving design strategies.
You just can't look at housing as a single thing. It's part of a whole community, and you have to really build a whole community in order to make it work.